Welcome to the podcast about venture capital, where investors and founders alike can learn how VCs make decisions and reach conviction. Your host is Nick Moran, and this is The Full Ratchet.
Welcome back to The Full Ratchet. On today's special segment of Investor Stories, the investors address trends, sectors, and markets that they think are positioned for outsized returns in the future. This is the segment called What's Next? On today's special segment, we have Grace Isford of Canvas Ventures. Grace, can you talk about sectors or trends that you're bullish on?
Totally. Data ops or kind of data engineering is one of them. So actually an entrepreneur I talked to once told me data ops is kind of like eating your greens as part of doing anything with data, right? I think a lot of times these days you talk about all these really cool, sexy ML ops, ways to deploy models faster. But in reality, you have to have really healthy, high quality data behind that. So anything in data quality, cataloging as well, just having your data in good shape before you kind of move up the stack to do those cool things with it, I think is going to continue to be really important as data continues to kind of multiply within every organization.
On today's special segment, we have Erik Torenberg of Village Global. Erik, can you talk about sectors or trends that you're bullish on?
I'm really excited about people marketplaces and labor marketplaces. If you think about it, Uber and Airbnb are marketplaces that figured out how to utilize an idle asset. Airbnb turns spare bedrooms into extra cash. Uber turns your car into extra income. But the most valuable asset in the world that's underutilized isn't cars and it isn't bedrooms. It's people. There are billions of people whose talents are underutilized. There are people with the same IQ, same potential, getting paid 100x more because of where they live. I think a bunch of unicorns will be built off of this secret. Just look at every job category in the US and ask, does it have to be here? Especially in the era of COVID, I like to say we're now living on the internet. I think there would be enormous opportunities to create labor marketplaces to find, immensely talented people all over and plug them into startups.
I've got a good one to send your way, Erik.
Awesome.
On today's special segment, we have Erik Collins of ImpactX. Erik, can you talk about sectors or trends that you're bullish on?
I'm interested in market inefficiency, places where other people aren't going. And so I'm interested in underrepresented entrepreneurs. I'm bullish on underrepresented entrepreneurs in Europe and in general around the world. But in terms of sectors that most people would recognize, I think, quite frankly, we are like a lot of other investors. The future of work is extremely interesting to us, particularly in terms of distance and sort of the dynamics associated with not having a single location for work, the future of mobility and how people get around, whether that be, on foot, by scooter, by shared vehicle, or by some other sorts of means. Very interested in the future of energy, particularly not just renewables, but we are interested in sort of, energy consumption and other sorts of things. And for us, in particular, we are interested in education and the future of education. What are some of the delivery models? What are some of the business models that exist in that sector? Those are the things which I am very interested in, those trends. And we spend a lot of time trying to get on top of where those trends are actually going. But of course, all the things I mentioned are very dynamic at the moment, and we're trying to determine whether or not we're in a phase or whether we're in a permanent shift. And quite possibly the permanent shift has happened, and we've already missed much of the opportunity that's going to be available for outsized returns. So that's one of the things that we worry about. As you can see, this is I spend much of my time worrying. So this is one of the things I worry about.
It's a hazard of the business, I think. On today's special segment, we have Villi Iltchev of 2 Sigma. Villi, can you talk about sectors or trends that you're bullish on?
There are a few trends that I'm keeping an eye on. Before I talk about specific trends, I've had these views for a few years now. But if you look at the portfolio of investments I've made, it doesn't fit very neatly into those views, which is to say, I don't sit around and pretend to be smarter than founders or to know where the puck is going. I have a point of view. I have lots of opinions, but the way I approach venture, or at least try to, is with a very humble mindset, where I try to keep an open mind and let a founder open my eyes and help me see things differently than I had previously seen them. So some of the trends I've been watching is, I do think if you look at the last 20 years, we moved all applications to the cloud, and that had tremendous benefits. It made software accessible and cheaper, and changed the business model of software, made it easy to deploy, and it just completely changed the economics of software. What it didn't do is change what software does for us, which is another way of saying software didn't make us better at our jobs. We talked about the things we're doing, as VCs with software, and maybe that's going to change now going forward. I'll be a better VC because of software. But historically, if you think about Salesforce put the application into the cloud. Obviously, that had huge benefits, but it didn't make salespeople more successful at selling at their job, right? So I think the next generation of software will now take what Salesforce does and actually now focus on the user and try to make them better at it. And so in that world, without throwing buzzwords at you, it does imply that the software will be more intelligent. Take a look at Dropbox, for example. It is sitting on a mountain of files, literally more files than imaginable, but it has no idea what these files are. Is it a resume? Is it a contract? No clue. So you can bet the next version of Dropbox will say, you can use me as a content store, but let me help you use your content better. So it will actually try to make you better at your job. So I think that is a theme behind which I'm investing, and it applies to literally every category of software, which is take your favorite application in marketing, in HR, in a vertical, whatever it is, and the next version of it, what does it look like? It looks like a more intelligent version of it. So I think the next 20 years are literally disrupting the last 20 with more intelligent applications. I'm looking at developer tools and the cloud and portability of software and all the new technologies that are making software more portable, more flexible, easier to deploy and manage, all of those things. Every application is being rewritten on container-based architecture. Kubernetes is the default platform now. What does that mean to how we build and manage software? So that's a big trend I'm looking at. Data science and data science tools are just starting to gain any traction. Historically, most data science tools are niche, proprietary, small, custom, tools. I think just like GitLab and GitHub changed how we develop applications, how we manage code, I think there are going to be new platforms that are going to emerge that help you do the same thing with data and data science. So those are kind of three big themes behind which I'm investing, and anything in between. If you see great founders, let me know, because I'm certain there are about 1,000 ideas that don't fit into those themes that I can get excited about.
That will conclude this installment of Investor Stories. If you're enjoying the program and would like to see it continue, take a moment and leave a 5-star review in iTunes. Also, if you'd like updates on new content from TFR, as well as the top 10 VC articles every week, go to fullratchet.net and sign up for the newsletter. Okay, that will wrap things up for today. Until next time, over-prepare, choose carefully, and invest confidently. Thanks for joining me.